Hi, this is Frank Schaefer, and I want to thank you for sharing my YouTube videos and for watching them. And I would ask you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps what I'm doing and get the word out. Thank you. Hi, my name is Frank Schaefer. And for those of you who have seen me before on my commentary, it has to be said, you're going to wonder what this Band-Aid is and a little bit of scarring above it. So let me get past that and then talk about what I want to talk about today. I had a melanoma that a good dermatologist caught, and I had this all surgical procedure done in the last few weeks at Mass Eye and Ear in Boston. Wonderful people, and they got all the margins, and I'm home free. But it's healing up, and it's going to take long enough so that if I wait to look good again, not saying I ever looked good, but better, it would be too long. And we have so much going on with the election. I wanted to say something. So let me address something to you all here. I have a real optimism about the future of the United States based on something very strange to some of you because we're so divided about this election. But it's the insane level of involvement and commitment on both the right and the left. Liberals and Democrats on one side, Republican MAGA people on the other. But there is something worse than division in politics, and that's total apathy. You know, the very fact we're so divided and we care so much, and we each accuse the other of being in bed with conspiracy theorists and lies and misinformation, the very fact that Russia and China and North Korea and Iran are throwing everything at us, at both parties equally. They hate us all. They hate you if you're MAGA, and they hate you if you're a liberal Democrat. They hate you if you're a Black American or a white American. They hate us all. They hate democracy. They hate what we do. They hate the freedom of our elections. And yet we are united in some things as Americans that should make us all proud to be here. Whatever our view of the Second Amendment or the First Amendment, whatever our view of MAGA or Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, we're united in one thing. We Americans, we all really care about this election no matter what we're accusing each other of. I accuse Project 2025 of wanting us to take us back to the Middle Ages Roman Catholic Church. Project 2025 accuses the kind of people I'm friends with of wanting to change everybody through sex change operations and God knows what. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are at loggerheads. I am a big Kamala Harris fan. Some of my friends here in my neighborhood have Trump signs in their yard. But we care. We are not desperate people. We are not as divided as you think. I just want you to think about that for a minute. You know, I was born in the evangelical subculture, and we really cared about our culture. And we, my dad and I, back in the 1970s, argued for anti-abortion positions that have transmuted into the takeover of the Republican Party, have transmuted into Amy Coney Barrett and other traitors to women, taking away a woman's rights to choose. I am so ashamed of that background. My memoir, Crazy for God, explains everything about this, by the way, and is used as a textbook in the history and sociology, even anthropology departments of numerous universities, if I can brag for a second. But what I never foresaw is the difference between global apathy when it comes to so many European countries or people who have just given up on bringing change to their governments, like in China today, post Tiananmen Square. Think of the Arab nations that rose up in the spring uprisings that were crushed, and the apathy in those countries, and how little invention, how little trademarking, how little Nobel Prize winning comes out of so many cultures. And here we are in America, the richest economy on earth, the envy of the earth. And one of the things that people envy most is that we all believe we can make changes. Now, much as I disagree with my MAGA brothers and sisters, and much as they would dislike my points of view on so many things, whether it's a woman's right to choose, or my gay friends that I have that I will defend with my life, whatever it may be, we all agree on one thing. We care about the future of this country. We care. And we would not be so divided, and there would not be contentions about who's going to win, and there would not be challenges to elections if we were an apathetic people who had given up on ourselves. We haven't. It's good to be an American, even with a Band-Aid and two big plastic surgery cuts on my head this morning. even one fearful that Donald Trump might win and convinced that it will destroy a big chunk of who we are. But there is something worse than division. It's called apathy. We are not apathetic. Whether you're a Fox News watcher, an MSNBC watcher, I'm on MSNBC from time to time. Back in the day, the kind of people on Fox TV loved my dad and I because we were, quote, pro-life prophets, et cetera, et cetera. I've changed sides. I've been out of that milieu for 40 years. But no one could have accused us of not caring. And no one can accuse the American left, the liberals, of not caring. We can accuse each other of a lot of things, but one of them is not apathy. You have to know a little about the world and world history, as I do. Not claiming to know a great deal, but I do study history. I do read. I have traveled. I grew up in Europe to understand what a unique country it is here. Do you know, if you were living in Russia today and you had an opinion at all about the war they were fighting in the Ukraine, the unjust war that, by the way, the Republicans should be shamed for not supporting to the degree they did. But that's politics again, because I care. I want my side to win. Put that aside for a minute. But if you were in Russia today, you couldn't express an opinion without going to prison. And no one there feels they can change anything. They never have. They rose up in the Russian Revolution, and it soon came to nothing. Nothing changed. They just transferred one oligarchy into another. The Communist Party leaders replacing the Tsar and being even worse. The same goes for China. China's economy is faltering now, and they're threatening Taiwan and all the rest, but no one there feels they can change anything. It's a system that can't be touched. It's far, far away. Elections don't matter in China. They don't matter in Russia. By the way, they don't matter in Orban's Hungary anymore either. These right-wing wannabe dictators coming out of the new rise of, quote, conservatism. It's anything but conservative. They're not conserving anything. These people are leaning towards fascism. But that's politics again. But take a deep breath if you're an American citizen and can vote. Take a deep breath if you dislike Elon Musk and his trying to buy the election. But nevertheless, I will say this for Elon Musk, this South African who grew up in apartheid, in my view, a damaged and mistaken human being, but he's American in one way. He cares and he thinks he can change the system by offering his crazy $1 million prizes to people. And I'm doing this commentary because I'm an American. And I think I can change the system. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't have his billions, but I think it's worthwhile talking and speaking up. I'm an American. I'm not Chinese. I'm not Russian. I'm not living in the EU where nobody thinks they can change anything. In all these countries, saddled with all these crazy layers of bureaucracy. Beware, American left. You know, that always says you want to be sort of more like Europe. Really? Try to get a dentist recently in the national healthcare system of Britain. Hey, think about it before you want to go toward that socialist solution to everything. It does not work. The Republicans have a point. Read the Wall Street Journal once in a while to get a broad spectrum. I read 7 newspapers a day. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Guardian. Yes, I even read the Daily Mail. Dislike it heartily. Interviewed one of their lead writers on my podcast recently in conversation with Frank Schaeffer. Please subscribe on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. But we care. Why do we care? Because we think our voices can be heard. My friend who lives up the street with a MAGA sign in her yard, 2 Trump signs, it's like, how much Trump shit can she put in her garden? Nevertheless, there's something scarier than someone putting crazy signs in their yard that I disagree with. And that is no signs at all. There's something scarier than the gun lobby, a sense of hopelessness where there's no point being in a lobby because you can't change anything. So I just want to salute Republicans and Democrats and independents today and just remind you all of something. There is unity in our divisions. We all think we can change something. And we're getting ready to glorify ourselves and the people who voted like us if we win. But let's remember something as we head into this election. If you guys in MAGA win, or we, my liberal friends and I win, let's remember to cut each other some slack. Because we're Americans, we care. And whoever wins this election will prove something again. And that is, people in America can change things for better or worse. I think Kamala's the better choice. I don't want Trump again. Bit of a lying buffoon kind of guy I'd never let near my daughters or granddaughters or my wife. You wouldn't want him sitting next to you on an airplane. But that said, let's cut each other some slack. My name is Frank Schaefer.